The historical novel or the political novel is a very remarkable kind of novel. Stendhal's Le Rouge et le Noir, The Red and the Black, was written, well, it's set during the Restoration, so that's the period of French history when Napoleon is no longer in power. And what you would read if you read a history of the Restoration, a social history, would be an account of how dull it was. That after Napoleon and ideas of honour and glory and the possibility as a young man of rising in the army and so on, that just came to an end. And so it was a period of extraordinary conservatism, dullness, conformism, the kind of social mobility that had been part of things under Napoleon came to an end. And so there's a sort of wonderful irony. Why set a novel at the point at which everything that could be exciting has ended? And it's a wonderfully comic novel. Now, it tells you an enormous amount about the Restoration in terms of the way in which we as societies function under different political regime, how our thinking, how the way we interact, how what we enjoy, everything is actually conditioned to some extent by that political regime. And I think if you read a historian's account, it would almost be a whole series of negatives. There was no longer social mobility, it was much more difficult to make anything much of your life. But actually, if you read this particular historical novel, political novel, you get such a vivid sense of what living at that time would have been like, and the whole political shenanigans that were going on. So although some of it's made up, I think it gives you a very, very true picture of that particular period in France's history. Some of it's factually correct, but in a sense that's not what the historical novel's trying to do. I think it's trying to allow you to see what it would have been like to have lived at that time in that place under those conditions. And so in that sense, I think you could say that fiction is sometimes truer, in the sense that it gives you a truer picture of a period than a history would be able to give you.